We're going to talk about the layers of the skin. We're going to start with the epidermis.
Epi refers to on, and dermis refers to skin.
The epidermis is the outer layer that you can see or touch. It has keratin, a protein inside the skin cells with other proteins that stick together to form the epidermis. We're now going to go to the stratum basal. It is the base layer, or the deepest layer, that makes up skin cells. It activates dividing cells. It has keratin and different kinds of proteins.
And they all follow along this one line all across on this one layer.
Next, we're going to talk about the stratum spinosum. It's a spiny layer that's located in the epidermis. It sits on top of the stratum basal and helps make skin flexible and strong.
And they also contain one piece of cell that over time will dissipate when it gets closer to the surface of the skin.
So now we have the stratum granulosum. It is grainy. It's a grainy layer. It's a thin layer of cells in the epidermis. It helps form waterproof barriers that function to prevent fluid loss from the body.
And this is when the cells within the nucleus within the cell starts to dissipate and disappear as it dies away.
Okay. So then we have the stratum lucidium. It's a thick, clear layer. It is found on your elbows, palms of your hands, and the bottoms of your feet. Next, we have the stratum corneum. It is the outermost layer made up of dead skin cells. We're going to talk about melanin. It gives you color and protects from the UV rays. It is within the
stratum basal layer.
We're going to talk about the hypodermis, which is the bottom layer of the skin in the human body. It is made up of loose areolar and adipose tissue. The important functions are for energy storage, insulation, cushioning, connection, and nerve, blood vessels, and branching.
And hypo also refers to below.
We have the epidermal dendritic cells. They're inside the stratum spinosum. They're tree-like branches that are part of the skin's immune system, initiating immune responses. The word dendro means tree. So now we're going to talk about the dermis, which is the papillary layer and the reticular layer. The papillary is areolar connective tissue, and the reticular layer is dense irregular connective tissue. The papillary dermis is the upper layer of the dermis, which is thinner and made of loose connective tissue. The papillary dermis folds to form papillae, which are finger-like projections that extend into the epidermis. The reticular dermis, the deeper layer of the dermis, which is thicker and made up of dense connective tissue. The reticular layer is made up of collagen fiber bundles. The dermis is made up of collagen and elastin, which give the skin strength and flexibility. The dermis also contains blood vessels, nerve endings, hair follicles, sweat glands, and sebaceous glands. We also have Pacinian
corpuscle.
Sensory receptors that are sensitive to deep pressure and vibration. They are found in the skin. They are most concentrated in the hands and the feet. It's an oval-shaped capsule that's about 1 millimeters long and are made up of nerve endings surrounded by layers of cells.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to talk about some fun facts about the skin. The skin is the largest organ. It makes up about 15% of the body weight and is the largest organ in the body. If you didn't know, the skin renews itself every 28 days, shedding dead skin cells at a rate of 30,000 to 40,000 per minute. Skin thickness varies. So skin thickness varies depending on where it is on the body, with the thinnest skin being around the eyes and the thickest on the soles of our feet. So the skin is the home of trillions of microorganisms, including bacteria, viruses, and fungi that help fight infection and inflammation. Some nerves in the skin are connected to muscles, allowing the body to react more quickly to pain and extreme temperatures. So the skin has nerves. Skin can form calluses. Skin can thicken and toughen in areas that are exposed to repeated pressure or friction, forming calluses. So when the skin is severely damaged, it can form scar tissue, which is different from normal skin tissue because it lacks hair and sweat glands. Changes in the skin can indicate underlying health issues such as eczema, hives, contact dermatitis, and acne. Skin can also be affected by skincare products. The average woman uses 12 to 15 skincare products per day, and the average man uses about 6. Skin can also be affected by sun exposure. Too much sun exposure or tanning can increase the risk of skin cancer. Let's see. To better understand the ins and outs of how skin works, it helps to know what's happening in each of the 3 main layers. What you see on the surface, what we call the epidermis, acts like a waterproof barrier, keeping moisture locked in and bacteria, fungi, viruses, allergens, and irritants out. It's also home to squamous cells, basal cells, melanin, the latter of which produces melanin, the substance that gives color to the skin and hair. DNA damage in any of these cells can lead to skin cancer. The bottom layer is the hypodermis that we talked about, and is a fat layer, which means fat is stored under the skin. Some experts don't even consider this a layer part of the skin. And you have the dermis. It contains sweat and oil glands, hair follicles, blood vessels, and lymph vessels, which carry out waste. Cells in this layer produce collagen and elastic fibers, which give skin structure and allows it to stretch. The skin contains 11 miles of blood vessels. The road to healthy, radiant skin is paved with blood vessels. These bring oxygen and nutrients to your cells, remove waste, and help regulate your skin's temperature. If you didn't know, skin accounts for 10 to 15% of your body weight. Next time you're feeling frustrated with the scale, remember that a lot goes into the number you see on the screen, including the weight of your skin. It's the heaviest of all your organs. That 10 to 15% is composed of water, oil, lipids, nutrients, hair follicles, blood, and lymph vessels, collagen, and living and dead cells.